Yo, how we doing, guys? Hey, there we go. How are we? I've got a load of new stuff I've been trying to set up, and I tried to figure this out to get this to live stream to YouTube at the same time as well, but I fucked it up and did the wrong channel, and I only realized about 30 seconds ago. So, oh well. Got a new stream overlay. Hopefully you guys like it. But I think this box is probably too big. So this is a bit of a trial session. And yeah, obviously I messed up getting the live stream on YouTube as well. Just come out of the shower. It's all been happening. Horrible headache today. So can someone let me know this is all working? Can someone let me know we're all here? And then we'll jump into it. I won't wait too long though, because people are kind of shy on X. But you can hit the live chat and say hello. I want to see if this chatbot works. Let me know who's here. It says we've got about 42 people here so far. So if one of you can say hi, that would be much appreciated. I just spent $20 trying to get this chatbot to go. So we'll see. All right, 55 people. Let's see if someone can say hello, and then we'll jump into it. I know it's all going fine. I can see it all. I'm going to give it 20 seconds, and then I'm just going to go. And then I'll sort out any problems afterwards. But yeah, I think this box is too big. Let me know what you think, because I think it's going to get in the way of the charts. Yo. Continue after. T-Red. Please start. Okay, I'll just get on. It doesn't look like it's working. Oh, that's annoying. All right. I'll figure that shit out. All right, let's get into it. And I will try and make sure that this box doesn't get in the way, because I need to, yeah, definitely need to. Getting sleepy. Okay, let's crack on. Right, thanks for letting me know it works. Right, let's jump into Bitcoin. We're going to do a few things. Start off with, as usual, we're going to run through Bitcoin, we're going to run through Ethereum, we're going to run through Solana, and then I'm going to take any chart requests. So if you guys have got any chart requests that you want me to look at, put it in the chat, and then I can get to it afterwards. And then we're going to look at psychological subject or lifestyle subject, swing trading versus day trading. And I'm going to do a YouTube video on this as well soon, but this is kind of like a little precursor to that. And then lastly, for those that are interested, I'm going to talk about my mushroom trip from last week. I am still feeling the effects of it, but I haven't done a big mushroom trip for nearly 3 years. And it's been a good one. Like, it was a good one. It wasn't like massively like mind bending, but it was exactly what I needed for this period of time in my life, and it has helped. Box is a bit large. T-Rex says could be an issue if you have guests, but solo. Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I've been like, so since that mushroom trip, I've kind of like had a time to reassess where I'm at with things. Had some time to just take off to myself and then work on some things like this, like improving the stream, like improving a few other things. So yeah, this is kind of, you're watching it, the process go live. So there's going to be a few little bumps along the way, but let's get into it. Let's talk about Bitcoin on the 4-hourly chart. So obviously I put my video up this morning, and a fair bit has happened, not a huge amount, but let's just talk about some of these levels. So this level here, if I just zoom out, is the level which was formed on the break of this low, this really big low here. And that was important because we had 2 tests of the high, and then we have the demand here where instead of respecting it and dropping, it pushes up and then on a retest of it, it really needs to bounce if we're going to be bullish. So this was the market at this point saying to us that it's going to try and push up and start a new trend, but on a retest of it so far, it's broken through it, which is not good for the bullish case, right? So now if we just jump down to the hourly time frame, we have a bit of a cleaner look on an intraday basis. So sitting on the break of it, we have this little range that has formed. So prices drop down, retraces at these lows, which were really nothing. It was just a retrace point. And then at this point sells off to test the level. And I've been saying for a little while that 77.7k is the level that bulls need to hold in order for this to remain bullish. And if we lose it, then it's going to set up a new trend to the downside, which is what it's currently doing. So we have price ranges at this point, tries to push up, hits the mid-range, tries to push up again, but creates a lower high. And then with strength, drops down to create a lower low. And then price retests the level this morning and the underside and then rejects to create a lower low. It's pretty bearish. It's a pretty bearish sign, right? So if you're not in a position already, then I would be looking and hoping that this would come back up to test the level now and then to get short to send it down. That's if you're not in a position, right? Otherwise, I think this may just go. I think it's pretty weak. I think the fact that over the weekend it went sideways rather than doing any retraces, rather than have any like little like silly scam pumps, it just goes sideways and then has died. And then on a retest of it, it hasn't even like decided to fuck around and range for a little bit. It just like hits it and then goes nope and creates a lower low. So that is, in my opinion, looking pretty bearish. Yeah, this webcam box is way too big. Sorry for that. I'm gonna be spending half the stream trying to make sure that everything's on the screen. So really for this down move now, I put up like a little post the other day, which people didn't like it. I don't know why. I got a load of like shit for it. I put this. So I'm using the very bottom of this swing, right? And then just like the next two, like the close of the thing here, the two candle closes down here. And then you can see on Bybit it was really nice because you had a big wick straight down into it. But if it's got a little bit of a channel, it's broken down and created a lower low for the first time. So it's not a particularly bullish sign and quite a nice bearish sign for this to be a top. I mean, it comes up, puts a high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. I mean, in a market that is in a higher time frame downtrend, this is a bearish sign. This is a top sign. This is a sign that this was all a retrace and it's now going to come back down and follow the trend, in my opinion. If we had a big trend up and then, you know, something like this, and then it pushes up and does this where it goes high, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, I would expect some fucking around and then to push up. But we have to remember we're in a higher time frame downtrend, and this level and this level here are two levels which have been dictating the market structure to the downside and holding everything down. Very key levels. And to see this bearish price structure at this point, you kind of have to go and, well, maybe I should take a risk here and take a short. So I'm short already. My downside target is basically down here. So when I select targets, when I look at the market structure, I just look to the left, and what I want to see, if we have like a demand zone or something, and then we have an impulse, and then we have a demand zone, these are basically where your areas of liquidity are. And when one breaks, it's going to come down to the next area of liquidity, which would be down here in this case. We don't have that in this move. What we have in this move is a very staggered sort of price action like that, very compressed, like a channel, in which case every low is just a reaction to previous points. Like that low is that high. And if we trace that low back down here where the buying took place to push up, reaction to there and reaction to there. So all of that, we can see the end of that chain. There's no real clean impulse. Even at this point, there's no real clean impulse. So if it comes back down to here, which is the target for this move on the 4-hourly chart, I would say that it's likely to break a bit lower, because again, this is just a reaction to this, which is reaction to this, which is all a reaction to this. And then we can follow that as a reaction to this, to this, to this. And then this is a reaction over here to the left, which is a reaction to this, which is a reaction to down here, which is a reaction to this, which is a reaction to this down here. And then we can see it all compresses down to here at about 47K. Probably a nice area to look to target overall, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. I do think it has a good chance of getting down there. You can't hear me properly. Not sure if it's a mic issue. Can you hear me? You should be able to hear me. Maybe it's your speakers, because everyone else is saying it's all good. So for this move, it makes sense to target the end of the chain, especially as we've broken through, like the top of this chain really is here. So this entire move, like so, and then what you want to see is an impulse away, which is what we kind of get, but then it puts that top pattern in and then comes straight back down into the channel. That's not a bullish sign. But I don't want to be targeting here or here or here or looking for longs at this point, because they're all just part of this big chain. So when you have a chain like this, let's say if I just draw this again, where it comes up like so, you're going to target this area or this area. The beginning of the chain, let's say price comes up like it has, it needs to bounce at the top of the chain in order to remain bullish. But if it breaks below it, there's no reason for it to stop in the middle. It's going to come all the way back down here, and then it really needs to bounce if it's going to remain bullish. But if it breaks it, and then we look for even lower. So with that in mind, for me, it makes the most sense to look for the end of this chain now as a target. Now, all of my, I focus purely on price action, right? So what I want to see from this type of pattern now, which sounds like, yeah, duh, everyone wants this to happen if you're short. I just want to see it go. I want to see it eat through all of this price action from April as quickly as possible. I don't want to see it sort of compress and stagger down like that, because if it staggers down, I think it can come back up. So I want to see it just absolutely nuke down into the lows. And I think it's cleared this level, which was a pretty key level. This is where, like I said, it tried to change the market structure to the upside, gets broken, and has now formed a lower low. So I want to see, especially after it's tested the level, I don't really want to see it come back up to look for more liquidity and then drop. I just want to see it go. So this week, basically, this week or next week, to come down to 68K. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm kind of expecting. It's difficult to say, because when everyone has been super bullish, and both throughout this move and then even more so at the top, and then I come on your timeline and go, right, I just want a big fat red candle down to 68K. I want it to drop down like, 10% or so, very, very quickly. Most people are going to be like, well, everyone's really bullish. Why would it drop down that quickly? It's not going to happen. So when I say that, if I'm watching this chart on M1, I do expect it just to kind of go sideways as well. But I mean, I want to see it when it impulses down. I want to see it go. I want to see retraces get smacked back down quickly. I don't want to see it like do this. You know, it comes down and then it starts pushing back up very, very soon. I just want to see it go. And I think it has potential to do that and catch a lot in the market off guard. Because like I said, everyone's kind of been super bullish and the signs are there that that was not the right thing to do. And I think as a result of that, then every dip that's going to come, people are going to start buying it and then they're just going to add liquidity to, especially that they're going to be adding on leverage on every dip and then just start puking their positions, which is what essentially causes a big cascade like that. So that's what I want to see. I want to see that happen sooner rather than later. I want to see that happen this week. If I don't know where it's going to come, of course, but that's what I want to see and that's what I'm targeting. If you think I'm wrong, what you want to see is this, and this is totally a plausible scenario as well. The thing is, when you're trading, if you've got a particular pattern that you're trading, like I've traded here, you need to know what to expect in terms of if things are going right, but you need to know what to expect if things go wrong. So if it comes back up into this level, I don't really want to see it holding the lows and creating higher highs like that, because then I think it can run up to the next level up here, which I've been talking about as well, at about 84.5K. Like there's potential for this to be a fake out. I think the fact that it's rejecting quite hard off of resistance means the likelihood of it being a fake out before we see a high is a little bit lower, or quite low. I think this does just need to go. But that is the opposite scenario of what I'm looking at and what I'm looking for. You know, you guys are all on X, obviously. You see everyone about how bullish they've been, and it's difficult for me to come and say, well, I actually think this is really bearish, because not many people agree. But when that happens, it's quite good for me because it's a bit more conviction in what I'm saying. But the way that this has just ranged sideways at support, dropped down, pushed up today, and looking like it may head back up, because once we've seen, look, I mean, here, for example, it comes down, we have a drop, comes sideways, and then it rips up quite hard. And we had the same thing here, comes down, rips up, and then immediately gets smacked back down and is now using the underside to potentially create a lower low. So this is what I mean. I think this is going to go this week. I think it's going to drop quite hard. And that's what I've been positioning for. So if you're not in a short, then I think any retrace you get is for selling. It may be that, okay, let's look at this low here as an example. This is where price rips up, hits the supply, comes all the way back down to the origin of that move. And then from here, this is where the buying takes place to fuel the move to create a higher high. So we know at this point there's liquidity. We know at this point we can expect some turbulence. I want to see it just eat through it. But if it comes down and starts ranging, or maybe it takes a low, on a retrace at that point, you've got a good level to look at, and you've got somewhere where you can define your risk and then catch potentially the next leg down to 68K. That's what I'd be looking for if you're not in a position. Remember, you want to act like a trader. You don't want to be just like looking at this and going, right, fuck, everything's just going to sell off, I need to jump in. You want to get logical entries. And the next logical entry for me, should it not come, because, you know, it may not retrace, we've been smacked down pretty hard. The next logical entry for me for a short is to wait for the next low to be taken out and then look for a retrace in the same way that this low gets taken out and it retraces, but it retraces shallow and then creates a lower low. So you want to be looking for the same thing at whatever type of level forms. Let's say it just copies exactly like this, drops, and then comes back up, and then you'd sell that, and you could go quite tight with a stop above there, and then look to get maybe a 4 or 5 hour trade down to 68k should that move materialize. So that's the next logical thing for me, is to wait for there. Otherwise, it may form a reversal point up here, in which case I think it would only potentially go as far as 79.5. And if it does, then you've got another dream entry to get short to head lower. So yeah, that's Bitcoin. What do you guys think on that? I'm just gonna have a bit of my water or my tea if I've got some left, and then we'll go on to Ethereum. Okay. Ethereum. So, I mean, this is my trade. I put this up on X. I should delete this. But I've got 2 entries with an average position about 23.30. I had my stop at 2,500 and had a bit of squeaky bum time as I thought this was going to come up on this move, because I've put it there, but my trades were actually more like here, and it came all the way back up, and I was like, fuck, I've actually screwed this up. But then once it hit this high and then immediately created the lower low, lower high, lower low, that was it for me. That was out of this range. So we had this range here again at key supply, and the end of that chain. This just highlights my point here, by the way, earlier about targeting the end of the chain. So you have a clean impulse, and then you have the compression, and then you have the next impulse. So you've got your compression here. So your channel is, you want to see the beginning of it hold us down, which it did a couple of times, but then ultimately can't find the strength to continue, and then comes back up to the top of that channel up here. And then if we just move it over here so you can see, it taps the top of it, has this very nice textbook range, which I've been talking about for a while. And, you know, hopefully if you've been paying attention, you'll look to get short here. Hits the high, gets smacked back down to create a lower low, lower high, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Tests like this is like this was the final run to get the liquidity, get everyone back on side after looking super bearish, and then it recovers. But the way it recovers, you just got to read the candles. Lots of small candles, lots of compressed price action, impulse away, lots of small candles, impulse up, and then smacked right back down. And then when it closed below the range again, a couple of entries to get in. So now what we have is a break of this key level, which is where the buying took place. So we get an impulse up, retrace, higher high, and then it comes back down into support and then rips up into supply from here. So we know there's liquidity here, but then price comes down, bounces off of it, and then rips right through it, and is now on a pretty strong looking downtrend. And I think that, again, it's catching a lot of people off guard, because this is now moving a lot quicker than it has for quite some time. So I think, again, it's going to be heading lower. And similar to what I was saying on Bitcoin, this is all chain there, all part of the chain with no real clear impulse away. So my target is down here at 1750 at the range low. I think it's going to go lower than that. But don't need to get worried about that just yet. So if we go down to the hourly time frame, you can see this is just going to go hard on stream. That's going to be fucking cool. At the support, same as what happened on Bitcoin, we have a range that forms, goes sideways, lots of tiny small candles over the weekend, tries to push up, mid-range, tries to push up but hits the top of the range, nukes down, and then at the open does fuck all. And then at New York, when New York wakes up, comes down, doesn't even make it to the underside of the range, and then has just completely collapsed. So now I want to start seeing this close in about half an hour or so below this previous low, and then I think it should be good just to drop. If you're not in a position, you'd kind of have to hope that maybe this is compressing down and then it comes up into this level or this level, because this one's untapped, so it would make for a good short at this point. Same as this one. This is, whoops, this is a little bit deeper, which means you're going to have better risk reward. So if you're not in a position, you'd be looking for that scenario to happen so you can get involved, or you're going to have to wait for something logical and wait for the next area of support to get hit and broken, and then try getting on a retrace. So that next area for me is, again, this is all really scrappy price action, which is why I've not been bullish. It's why I've been saying for the whole year really that we're going to head lower, and that for rallies are to be shorted. It has not looked like bullish price action. It has not been clear impulse accumulation and then clear impulse away. It's just been like very, very scrappy. So it's tough to say, but we have the high here, and then we have a little bit of a downtrend like that, and then price breaks out of that downtrend, puts a high in, tests the low, ranges, creates a high, equal high, finds some strength here, and then creates the high to end up eventually pushing up to this key support. So the origin of this move from April is here at about $2,000, and you're going to bet now that it's going to come down here, right? Otherwise, you know, how likely does that look in this environment? I'd say not very likely at all. So if you're not in a position, I'd wait for how price builds around this point, and then maybe look to get in on a retrace after it's taken out this level. Or, you know, if you are still looking bullish, then you want to be looking for a reversal at this point. And I wouldn't rule out something like that where it does come up and then go. I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen. Sorry, my big head's in the way with my big camera box. So that's like a situation I'm not entirely ruling out, which is why I don't like to get cocky when I'm in positions, even though things are running quite nicely in my favor. But I want to see this get taken out and then some lower lows, and I can start thinking right now I'm more likely to come down to the next area, which is down here. So it looks cooked, like it looks absolutely cooked in my opinion, and it's been leading the market, Ethereum. It's been kind of giving a sign for the rest of the market of what wants to happen next. Just to answer, I would not get bullish until this level up here gets broken and flipped. But I'm not sure that's likely. I think this is just going to go. Same as Bitcoin. I think everything's just going to go. I have been saying it for a while. We've had a lot of signs here and here and even here, really, that it's just going to go. It's just been a matter of having to be patient for it. But we're trading on the 4-hourly time frame, so things are moving slow, and I'm struggling to readjust from a day trading perspective to look for swing trading and get that patience correct. But we'll talk about that in a further chapter. So yeah, that's Ethereum basically. Is anyone in a position on Ethereum? Let me know what you guys are doing, and then we'll look at Solana, which is also looking like it might finally be doing this move, which I've been talking about for months, and heading down to $52. So really big key range, hits the high here, makes an equal high, and then has been slapped back down without any regret, without any remorse. It's just like, oh, fuck you. So let's talk about it. So we have the range high, which is really key, and then we have the base of this move here. So price comes all the way down to the range low, again compresses up with a lot of scrappy price action, comes down to the mid-range, compresses, and then pushes to go and take out the range high. And then it creates this level, and instead of respecting resistance and dropping, the buying takes place to push up and create a higher high. So if this is going to be a new trend, if this is a bullish trend now, you want to see that bounce price and head up to the next area, which was about $105, which I don't have marked. But instead, it's just ripped right through it. And then similar to Bitcoin and Ethereum, obviously, it has created a range over the weekend like that. Comes down, ranges, tries to take the high, mid-range, comes off the resistance of the range high, lower low, retraces to the range low and uses that as a resistance point and is now threatening to come down and create a lower low. So I would say the first target for this move is going to be this range low. I thought at this point, I was not prepared for it to spend all of April retracing. This is when I thought it was going to go, but I'm pretty confident now. Now that we've had, you can see like the way it comes up, retraces, it's very scrappy. But now we've got a really big move in play that I think that next time it comes down here, either it bounces and then drops or it's just gonna like sink through. So I would be looking for lower, but that's the first target. And if you're not in a position, again, you've got a really nice level just sitting above us, which is a continuation level. And then you've got, let me just mark it differently as a supply zone. Like that. And then you've got this level here sitting on the range high, which is where the sell-off took place to come and break this key level. So this is the key level. So if you're not in something, you want to be looking for a retrace here to get short, or ideally at this one where there's better risk reward, and look to get short there. This is a bit more of a significant level than a continuation level. But I'm not sure if that's going to happen. I'm not sure if we're going to get that retrace. So again, the next logical thing is to wait for the next low to break, and it's kind of here. I think this is where we can get potentially some turbulence. Look for that to break and then look to get in on a retrace to send it down below the range low and a lot lower. Again, I'm not looking bullish on this. If this finds some strength to push up here, then the market structure has changed, because this is now our level, which is defining the market structure. So this level tried to change it and puts in a higher high for a bullish uptrend. And I've been saying for a few weeks now, and I put a tweet up about it, the level that precedes the breakout is the level that defines the market structure. So on a retest of that level, if the market structure is going to remain intact, it needs to bounce from it. But if it breaks it, then we have a new market structure confirmed, and then we look to change our bias and get short, which is basically what's happened. So until this level gets broken, I wouldn't be bullish. And considering everything that's happened over the past 3 months, considering the fact that this has once again failed to break out and is now creating a new low, well, it hasn't created a lower low yet, unless you count this level, but if it breaks this level, we now have a lower low. And all of this structure, which accumulated for 2-3 weeks in April, is broken, and then suddenly we can start talking about much lower prices. So this to me looks like it's done. It looks cooked. It looks like it's going to now drop. We've had February, March, April, 3 solid months of accumulation, a push up, slapped back down, and once we get a new low confirmed, I'm pretty sure we're going to impulse to the downside with a target of $50. And yeah, which is nice, because then I can close out all my positions, which I've been holding since like November. So yeah, that's all 3 charts. Has anyone got any questions on that? Has anyone got any comments on that? And has anyone got any charts you'd like me to look at, meme coins, altcoins, or anything, for the next section for the chart requests? And I'm just going to have a bit of a drink while you guys maybe reply. I'm a bit annoyed that I messed up my YouTube thing, because YouTube works a little bit nicer for the chat integration. Like it should be showing the chat, but no one's chat is showing. It's annoying. Otherwise, right, let's crack on if no one's got any chart requests. If you do, I'll get back to it after the next section. So the next section is swing trading versus day trading. And the thing with these streams, so I like to section it so that the first part, we're looking at the technicals, we're looking at the market reviews, we're looking at trade plans, and that's the stuff which is making us money. But also like to have trading lifestyle and trading psychology sections where we can talk about the stuff that nobody talks about as much, and I can relay some of my experience to potentially help you guys, and also just get stuff off my chest. But swing trading versus day trading. So I have, like, when I first started trading in 2015, I was a swing trader for 6-7 years, because I had a lot of other stuff going on, and then switched to full-time trading and found that I didn't have the patience and I didn't have the right mindset really to swing trade when I had so much time on my hands. So I switched to day trading. I switched to trading and executing on the 1 minute time frame because I liked a lot quicker feedback. So where we're looking at hourly candles now, I've been waiting, well, since I'm just literally been sitting here waiting, but since midday-ish on Saturday was when it tested that key level, and then it's taken basically a day and a half to break through, and then ends up retracing over another 12 hours, and then 4 hours, 5 hours later, we're finally getting that break. I prefer to have that on the 1 minute time frame because I can get in and out of my trades within a session. I don't have to think about it. Whereas I've had this short open, or had these shorts open since well, like last week before, and sitting in that trade as a swing trader, maybe you guys know the feeling, but you'll get up in the morning and sometimes one of the first things you'll do is check to see if you've got any alerts come on for trading view, or your open trading view to see how the position's looking. And then if it's going well, maybe you can relax a little bit. If it's not going so well, maybe you want to get to the computer as soon as possible and like forget your morning routine, forget chilling with the family for a bit. You just want to get to the computer, just kind of get in the headspace for trading. And that's something I don't like. And as a day trader, I picked it up at the beginning of 2022, and I had 3 good years. And then last year was not great since I had my son. Increased the financial pressure, increased stress, increased the tiredness, increased the irritability, increased the anxiety, and increased my workload on a day-to-day basis, which meant that I was not able to give day trading the full focus that it needs. You need to be sitting on a computer, full focus, just lasered in, watching the 1 minute time frame, because you need to manage all of the emotions that crop up. You need to manage the how fast the information changes. You need to be able to adjust to that. You need to be able to plan accordingly. You need to be in the mindset. You need to be experiencing peak flow, completely completely uninterrupted from anything else, and just again laser focus. So I did that, and earlier this year, probably about February, I realized that after a year of inconsistency, so I had some good months last year and I had some bad months last year, and the bad months were very frustrating. The break-even months were extremely frustrating, and every time that I had a green month, I felt like right now it's time to kick on. I found my mojo again. Let's crack on. and something would interrupt me in the house or my family or whatever, and it meant or work, and it meant that I'd get out of the zone. I'd revenge spiral a lot easier. I would take bad trades, boredom trades, FOMO trades more because I felt like I wasn't giving it the full attention. So it meant that if I saw an impulse, I'd be like, right, gotta hit it before I miss it. Whereas if I'm watching it, I'll be like, okay, this might be fake. I need a bit more information. I want to get on the retest of the level. You just kind of have that understanding of what's happening. But if you're not paying it the right attention, you misread things and you take a lot of losses. So in about February, I realized I couldn't do this anymore, or just yet, because I wake up, I have to work. I like do shit on social media. I do stuff for my subscribers as well. I do the daily videos. So if you're not subscribed to that, hit subscribe on my profile and you'll get videos every morning and every evening. And then trying to trade, and then trying to like, my missus doesn't drive, so sometimes I take her and the boy to a play group or to like something they're doing or whatever. And then it takes me out of this headspace and then creates all this mess in my head if I'm just driving them 10 minutes down the road, because you need to be locked in, right? So I realized I couldn't do it. So now I've moved to swing trading a little bit more, and it's nice in the sense that it's easier to manage because you haven't got these like emotions like rocking up into you, and you're not seeing like these fast moves where you have to be able to react instantly, which is nice. But the flip side of that is I find it so fucking boring, man. I find it so boring. And I'm the type of person that if I've got a trade open, people will say, yeah, like set and forget, go and do something else with your day, and like you'll forget about it. And of course, there are times when I forget about it, but more often than not, I haven't. And it's always like scratching the back of my head going, oh, just check it. Like, what's going on? Is it doing what I thought it was going to do? Like I said, I need that immediate feedback, which is why I day trade on the lower time frames. And adjusting from that, needing instant feedback and getting instant feedback, to like sitting here and having to wait hours and days for a position to play out, it's quite frustrating. And I'm not struggling to change my mindset, but I'm definitely going through a little bit of a recalibration in my brain that makes me kind of have to sit back a little bit and forget things a little bit. The upside to doing swing trading, in my opinion, is that I get to increase the risk a little bit. So where, let's say if I took, where was my trade? I took one trade up here, right? And let's say I'm just targeting down here, 2.89R. And let's say I took that on Friday. Actually, no, I took it on Thursday. It was a little bit higher because I was talking to XO. That's one trade up here, right? Let's just do that one. 3R trade down there. And I took it on Friday or Thursday night. I took it Thursday night. And it is now Monday night and still not reached my target. And I'm waiting 3-4 days maybe for that to hit a 3R target. If this was M1, I could do that in a couple of hours for the same amount of risk reward. But I wouldn't have taken like, I think I've got about 6% running on my Bitcoin trades from this point. And that is also helped by the fact that I'm short from 110K and short from like 95K as well. So I've got unrealized gains that I'm able to feed into, but I've pushed hard. Like a lot of these trades I was taking down here were like 0.5%, and then I was taking like 0.2% losses, just trying to like get a feel from the market. But now, once I was a bit more confident, I can up the risk, and I've got two positions at like one's 2.5%, one's at 2%, and the other one's at like 0.5%. And I've kind of run out of margin now on my FX account because I've got so many positions open, which again is a thing I don't enjoy having on as a like swing trading setup, is having multiple different things I've got to think about. Takes the margin away as well. I just want to be in and out. So the positives of day trading is you just get like a 3-4 hour session, And in that 3-4 hour session, that's where all your thinking goes, that's where all your trading goes, that's where all your emotions go. And then at the end of that session, you can just get on with your day because you're not in any open positions. You know you're not going to be trading for the rest of the day. You know you don't need to catch the market or just manage something. So you can just forget about it. And that's what I miss. So that's one of the big positives of day trading. But swing trading has this, does anyone else feel this way where you've just got something in the back of your head? You're always like thinking about the position that you're in. But it's like a needs must. It's like a necessary thing at the moment for me in my life where I have to focus more on the swing trading and kind of have this adjustment period. And it feels strange, like having different timings, expecting like I was thinking like, oh, it's going to go here, and then it retraces for a few more, like another day, and then it goes, and it's a really weird feeling because where I would expect almost an instant feedback that it drops, having to or like maybe I have to wait another 15-20 minutes or so. Now I have to wait days. So it is strange, but it has to fit. The thing is like it has to fit your lifestyle. You have to make money with it at the end of the day, right? You don't just come in here for the hell of it and like just trade and press buttons for whatever reason. The goal of it is to make money. And if you are trading in a way that is not sustainable to making money, then you got to do something else. You got to figure something else out. It depends on your lifestyle. It depends on your personality. Like I said, I like immediate feedback, but I can't get that immediate feedback right now. So I'm having just to kind of swallow that and play the game a little bit slower, which I don't like. But yeah, it depends on your life. It depends on your personality and really like your appetite for risk. Because, like I said, one of the better things I think is that you can scale into positions. You can which is what I was trying to do here, where I was taking like 0.5%, 0.5%, and then it drops and like, okay, this if I can get a better sign and then I'll add more. But up here it was just way cleaner price action. So that's another thing. You don't have to think about things as much. But yeah, does anyone have any comments on that? It's weird. I don't know why everyone's kind of shy on X to talk. I get way more viewers on X, but get way more engagement on YouTube. I'm not sure why. So if you've got anything to say about that, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to go into the next part, the final part of the stream, which is my mushroom trip report. If anyone's interested in that, whether you're interested or not, I'm going to talk about it. Let me just have a little drink. Okay, I first took mushrooms nearly 5 years ago now, end of 2021, and I look at it as life before mushrooms and life after mushrooms. It was that compelling of an experience for me, where it made me reassess my entire life, relationships with people, direction, my personality, how I behave, my emotions. It completely rewired my brain. And then the years that followed that mushroom trip were kind of like a reawakening and a changing of my persona and life, really. And for anyone who is watching this or who was around, who might remember me from being online before, I went away from social media for a good 4 years, and in that 4 years was almost a direct result of that mushroom trip, because I realized I had a lot of shit to figure out. Like the conviction which I have publicly with my trades now was not possible before, like 4 or 5 years ago, because I didn't know, I hadn't gone into detail as much. I hadn't gone on like a deep dive with my trading that having the social media hiatus allowed me to have. So I sit here now, like having done a huge amount of work and having a huge amount of time to myself. And trading was the most important thing for me. And it had leveled me up because I was able to be way more conscious of what I was doing, what I was wasting my time on, what I was wasting my energy on, what I was wasting my thoughts on. And then just moved it back to create a lifestyle for me, which was centered around being able to improve my trading. And that has been a huge thing for me, that first mushroom trip. And then I hadn't done it for like I said, like I think about 3 years. The last trip I had was about, I think it was end of 2023, just before I came back on social media, funnily enough. Um, and everything that I experienced on a day-to-day and week-to-week basis, now having a family, my missus she's a stay-at-home mum. She's a housewife. She needs a load of management. My boy obviously needs a load of management. I'm dealing with all the finances. I'm dealing with all the work. I'm dealing with social media. I'm trying to do, like, bring extra income in through like doing this live stream, attracting sponsors, like doing projects and all this kind of stuff. Uh, Managing the household, like all the bills and like meetings with mortgage advisor recently, for example. We've had to have some work done on the house. Um, I've had to help with my sister's business. I'm like got some shit going on with my mum. My friend is going, like one of my close friends, is going through a divorce. My other close friend is having a really bad time with his second baby, who is just like covered in eczema and it won't heal him, and he's getting infected eczema, and like get like all that shit laid on me. And sometimes it feels like, and then obviously like speak to people online who are like trying to lean in on my experience to help them, and it leaves a feeling of not having a huge amount of time and energy to myself. And the mushroom trip that I had last week, I just went with my mate. And we got an Airbnb at a farm and just did mushrooms. And I said I didn't really. Whereas my first mushroom trip was like like expansion of my mind and put me into a completely different headspace and made me see the world and the universe differently. Really, this one I just needed. Imagine like a ball of yarn. It was like scrambled all in my brain. I just needed time just to stretch out and just be a little bit more peaceful. And that's what it allowed me to have. Um, Even though my mate like kept interrupting me because he needed some human interaction, and I just wanted him to fuck off. Um, it allowed me to have that time where it slows down time. Like I was probably laying in bed for about 2 hours, staring out the window, thinking about things, and that 2 hours felt more like a whole day. And it allowed me to, with a little bit of help as well, right? You've got something spiritual about it. It's a conscious entity that you are ingesting when you take mushrooms, and it helps you in a way. And it probably sounds really fucking crazy to say that like you've got some sort of spirit inside you at the same time. It's kind of lending a hand. But if you've done mushrooms, you'll understand what I'm talking about. And it allowed me time to think about the things that I've not been able to give 100% of my energy to. So, like, for example, even just my subscription service, sometimes I feel like I'm just doing it for the sake of getting it out of the way so I can get on with other stuff in my day. Whereas I know that I need to be able to give it good attention, give it good focus, and look to improve it. Even the live streams with the way that it's laid out, I want it to look a little bit more professional. We've got the scrolling ticker at the bottom now, which I hadn't thought about before. Just like little things that I needed time for. So it was good for a mental reset, good for time to give my brain a little bit of me time, slow down the world, get a little bit of help of like seeing what's not serving me, what's not serving my life, where I need to shift my energy, and what stuff I need to do in order to really serve the people that matter the most to me. And mushrooms gave me all of that. Gave me some good visuals as well. Like I was able to close my eyes and see a few patterns, but I had 4 grams. I think I could have done 5, and I think the next time I do them, I'll do 5. Um, I've never had anything that's like shot me out into outer space and like completely shattered my illusion of the universe. But I quite like that just for like an interesting thing. But at the time, that was the mushrooms will give you what you need the most, and what I need the most was just time to chill and sort out my brain, and that's exactly what it did. So would I recommend it? Yes, I would, but you have to have done, in my opinion, a fair bit of research, a fair bit of understanding of what you're doing, be with the right people, be in the right setting as well, of course, with the right intention to do it. You have to kind of know what you're getting into, because it's a pretty heavy thing to do. Um, so yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to say on that. But the other side of it as well is that I've been sick since. I very very rarely get sick, and I came back home. My mate was sick. My missus and my baby was sick, like the week before. So I was like fighting everyone off. But I think the mushrooms kind of take away a lot of stress and your body just kind of relaxes. And in that relaxed state, I was able to get sick a little bit easier. So I've basically, since last Saturday, I've been fighting off this illness. I've got a really bad headache today, but I'm fasting, so that's why. But it just kind of throws you off balance a little bit, so you have to be prepared for that as well. And yeah, just kind of recalibrating, and it gives you kind of an understanding without telling you exactly what you need to do. You just kind of, it's like downloading a load of information and then just going ahead and doing it. It's really interesting. I do recommend it, but I gave about 3.5 years ago. My missus said she wanted to try it. She just wanted to dive in the deep end, so I gave her some, and she said I only gave her like 2.5 grams maybe, and she said every time she closed her eyes, she could just see eyes looking at her, and she thought it was really demonic and scary. And I kind of got put off recommending people it, because not everyone's ready for it. Not everyone will have a good time with it. Or, if you're not having a good time with it, there's also stuff to learn, and not everyone's introspective like that and uses them to enhance their life. Some people just want to use it as a bit of a party drug as well, right? So I do recommend it, but only if you're prepared for facing, your shadows and the demons and conquering that, because I had a lot of shit I needed to deal with. The first one, interestingly enough as well, final point, the one that I did 5 years ago, the first mushroom trip, my dad died in 2016, nearly 10 years ago. And for about 5 years, I was dealing with what I thought was asthma. And it was unresolved trauma and unresolved grieving. And it manifested in this way where it was like I kept all the time, like constantly. And that mushroom trip just gave me, I cried my eyes out, man. I was on my mate's bathroom floor, just sitting there, like humped up like a little kid, and just cried my eyes out. And all like snotty nose, like kid, tears. I'd blow my nose, and then there was just like this like well of snot that seemed to be in my body, it felt like. And I got rid of all of that. And afterwards, my heart felt, it sounds really strange, my heart felt lighter. And my breathing improved. Like I didn't have to keep clearing my throat. I didn't have to keep like having this all the time. And that was a really big thing for me. So yeah, like it can put you into like the deepest, darkest places and heal you, but you have to want that healing, and a lot of people don't, because you have to be able to face up to something quite scary and something uncomfortable as well, really. But microdosing is pretty cool as well. I do that every now and then. I need to get into a better routine of it. Funnily enough, a couple of weeks ago, I did take a microdose, and it ended up being a little bit too much. And I was just like getting a little bit hazy, and things were a little bit brighter and not moving, but it felt like they were vibrating. So I had to chill for a bit, but that was funny. The great thing about mushrooms is that the ability to both zoom in and zoom out on different aspects of our life at the same time. And yes, the environment is absolutely key. Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, it's crazy the amount of perspective shifts it can give you, the amount of improvement it can give you, like just to even examine your own behaviors, which you're not conscious of, which are not serving you. One of them for me was like, if I felt an emotion come up, I'd act on that emotion without thinking through what I was doing. And now I'm a little bit more chilled and relaxed on that. If I feel something come up, I'm able to think, is that going to serve me? Is this logical? Like, okay, I feel that. All right, let it go, and then address that later. Works great with the missus. So if she pisses me off, for example, if she pisses me off, I don't react to it and rise to it and have an argument. I'll just take it on board, and then I'll let it fester, let it settle, and then address the situation later on from a more emotionally balanced standpoint. All right. That's going to be about it for this evening. We've been here an hour, and yeah, it's been a nice little stream to test out some of these new features that I've got and what I need to improve on for next time as well. Mostly hooking up the right fucking YouTube channel. But just to recap, where I'm looking for things, I think this move on Bitcoin is heading for 68K, We've got turbulence here at about 74K, and potentially this low here as well at just below 74K. Actually, that one's probably the better level to look at. So if it breaks through there, yeah, I'm looking for 68K, and I think even then we're going to look at something a lot lower, down to about 50K. But I just want to see this go now. I just want to see this rip and not fart around. We've had enough farting around for months. Ethereum, yeah, next target down at 2020, and then below that 1750. Solana, next target at 82. Below that, we're going to the range low at 77, and then below that, $50. All right. Thank you for tuning in, guys. I really appreciate it. And next week we'll do the same, and I'll have some of these features sorted out as well. Have a good evening. Have a good trading week. Speak to you when I speak to you. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. Take care, and bye-bye.